right? And it's been raining. And it's been raining, right? And we love our nail polish cover. And I pause the whole time in our video. It's like television that gives an era. We're just gonna wait for the video to be fine. And then what are we cooking today? We're cooking a lovely sweet carrots. We're cooking broccoli cauliflower with a lovely cheese sauce. I'm doing a lamb chop. Only one chop for everyone. Because we had sample beans yesterday. And we're again having sample beans this afternoon if we want to eat a second plate of it, right? Normally on a Sunday, we do our Sunday lunch first plate. We do a second evening plate also. And the other Sunday, we're only going to do the 7-1 plate. Normally, if we don't do a Sunday evening plate, then I do the lunch on a Monday. Everyone has a lunch plate on a Monday, or a Monday evening plate on our Sunday. And it makes it much easier during the day. So we try and get as much servings into one Sunday plate of food. And that's how we cook, right? So we don't want to not have on a Monday. If we had a very delicious food on a Sunday, it would be advisable to enjoy that on a Monday evening. So what am I going to do? I'm now going to do my lovely carrots first. So I want us to do the carrots together. I'm going to put the lamb in the pot because I've already done the onion, the rice is already done. And then I'm actually going to only focus on my potatoes. While everyone can still enjoy being in our kitchen this morning, right? Let's quickly do one thing. Hi, my brother says it's listening. Let me quickly go and find out how my brother's shark is doing. My brother's shark is now really missing his sister so much. If he's missing me so much, then he's probably not busy with his head. This chocolate is so thin. Yeah. So if it's a lovely potato. If it's on a Monday food, on a Sunday food, and a Monday it's food also. And it's a house motto, like saute or onions and if the plate of food is on a Sunday, good. And then we prefer it on a Monday as our plate of food. So let's quickly do a saute. Because yesterday we did sample in the pot. And now we can just enjoy the lovely veggies. Now we can just do the lovely potato. And then we prepare the carrots, right? It's July 9th. It's my sis Anjanette's birthday. Oh no, it's let me check. I thought it would be my sis Anjanette that would not really send me a message to say, where are you? Because it's my birthday. Let me just check where it is. What's today's date, everyone? Thank you for joining the room. I think my sister's birthday is on Tuesday. And she's probably thinking, where's that crazy amounts of stuff on her? As it doesn't come crazy, and she also doesn't come along. lovely, relaxing morning. What did we have yesterday? A last house. New Zealand television to blame for that. I was a little bit shouting loud yesterday in the kitchen. New Zealand television, thank you everyone for joining. New Zealand television, don't make my kitchen loud. Those Mr. and Mrs. Smith loudnesses. All those television teams that work for television shouldn't manipulate our households. And they should not specifically not manipulate our universe communications. So if they have learned in American celebrity house how to make a review at least louder than usual, then we advise them not to manipulate such processes. I'm from South Africa, where I've learned, thank you, I'm doing, I've watched a good film today, thank you. And I have been watching some interesting films. But when it comes to those television processes and the aggression sometimes in our houses, thank you for joining the room. I'm going to read all of those comments just now. When it comes to those lovely aggressions in our houses in the films that we watch on television, right? And then we learn a lot on television. We learn that we live on an earth where there's a lot that people can do in your houses. And we don't want to isolate television teams of people that are employed for television. We don't want to isolate no one in this world for the state of every process, right? And for how every process should be managed and should be monitored in our households. But we have a duty to ourselves, right? And when the films inform us of all that can happen on any given day, and the films inform us of all the processes that so many countries are already so much aggressed about, then it is advisable, if our countries are not countries that are so aggressed and that are so much into a lot that are happening in the international world, into a lot of aggressions, right? And into a higher rate of crime, then our countries that we are at should be lenient to the processes that they are managing in the countries when it comes to television specifically. And when they're lenient to the process, then they would be lenient to the people. And when they don't understand why a certain person may be reacting in a certain way in their house, or why a certain person may be saying something on the social media page, then they need to be lenient to the process that they are managing. And when they are television teams, and they have the insight into your house because they are managing television, and television can sometimes live stream into your house, and they can monitor everything that is happening in every household. And then the television teams should have advisably a private intelligence agent that works with the television teams with every program that are being aired. Other than those private intelligence teams, they should then be lenient on the households itself. Specifically, a country like New Zealand has got a lot of international processes. I've mentioned before that New Zealand is the very first #1 Monday offers for many generations and years on this earth. And when we look at the earth, and when we look at why we are all called to New Zealand, and when we look at our expertise, our careers, our wombs, then we learn why are we actually in Auckland, New Zealand. And once we know the information, then it's advisable that the police, that specific specialized police agent knows exactly a repair Elise in a Jutland Road. When you look at a Jutland Road house, then you see that Jutland Road has got a primary school, intermediate school, and they've got 3 churches, a Roman Catholic church, and they've got the Bethel church, and there's another church in the road, and then there's the Life Church on the corner, and there's a lot of life churches in New Zealand. And then there's an old age home in the same road. And once Rebecca Elise has been given a house in the road, and the road has got international processes. And the international processes are now also why Rebecca Elise are staying in the road. And then television, police, and every other part of the governmental house should exactly be informed about a house like this, and they shouldn't aggress a house like that. And that's where the Mr. and Mrs. Smith film explains a lot about all the processes on earth. And I now remember when I met my husband the very first time, we went to go and watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith. When we went to go and watch that film, I've learned a lot over the years. And therefore, it's advisable that no one manipulates any devices in the house, technology, television specifically, And because of the viewer sits in front of television, and the television have got now access to the viewers, sometimes universe communications, the way that the music industry explains it, right? And when the music industry explains to you that your voice is somewhere in the universe, the sound of a voice comes from somewhere, right? What happens to the other human being body, right? And the other human being body functions, right? Or the ears, the nose, the voice, where your sound comes from, all of those communications. Then television teams should not try and manipulate the household communications under no circumstances. And that's where I'm at with what's happening this week and what was happening in my house yesterday. And when I'm often so graced, then I often would say, New Zealand television, I often would say it loud because I know they're listening into the house. And I often would be direct in saying, do not make the house loud. I often would be direct in saying, do not make my house loud, because it would be advisable. Let's do our cauliflower. I'm going to add some broccoli to this lovely cauliflower. We add a dash of salt on the back of broccoli. We're doing our carrots last because we want our carrots to be lovely, warm, and softened. And lovely. Everyone, if you all listen to Leading This Generation, thank you. Let me looking for streams at 3 a.m. Oh, Stranger Things movie. Oh, lovely. So I'm gonna. Is Stranger Things a film? I'm not very well informed about all the lovely film processes, everyone. I only switch on Netflix or someone switch it on and then I would just say, play this or that film for me. A lot of cauliflower in this pot already. Lovely salt. We have steamed broccoli. Yay! Let's get our cauliflower close. Let's give our potatoes a rinse and then we do our potato peels. Oh, this week it is relationship talk, lovely. And this week we are doing relationship talk. And in our relationship talk this week on our live stream pages, for everyone that have watched our live stream pages. Oh, for everyone that have watched our live stream pages, I'm really not a Netflix and person that follows movies on all of those lovely streaming options that there is about any film. But it would be fine if you all can educate me how to watch movies and how to follow fine movies. Another thing about our relationship talk this week. We're gonna talk about a whole lot of lovely relationship seasons. And we're gonna talk about a whole lot of relationship seasons. And we're gonna talk about a whole lot of relationship options, yes, that you get. And with all of those options, we talk about a whole lot of, we don't talk about relationship partners. Yeah. all of the lovely things of the relationship. And anyone who's in a very happy relationship, you can share with us your comments and we will read to that. And we will follow to listen all of those lovely educations also that everyone wants to. If you want to share lovely relationship educations with us, then we would love to listen to us. Those are we're cooking very fast today. Thank you. I'm doing fine, thank you. Tell me about all of y'all. How is everyone doing? Yeah, y'all can type. How is everyone doing? Thank you, everyone, for joining the room. We're only cooking winter food. It's raining, and it was lovely this morning. And while it was raining nicely this morning, I'm really cooking some lovely sweet warm carrots. I'm really cooking a lovely rice with that. We're doing a lovely lamb chop and we're doing a lovely potato. Hopefully everyone would love that. Last weekend we did a sweet pumpkin. Everyone knows we love our sweet pumpkin and we do everything pumpkin. Everything pumpkin season educations. For all of those lovely recipes of what we are cooking and what we have been cooking, it is all on our website. Yes, I'm from South Africa, thank you. I'm actually from Paarl community, South Africa. Western Cape, yes. And I'm actually, yes, in Auckland, New Zealand, in the craziness of the international world. I'm in Auckland, New Zealand. And when the world got crazy with COVID-19, I was in Auckland, New Zealand. When the world got a little bit more crazier than the wars that we are looking at in all the international countries. Then I was in Auckland, New Zealand. Someone would say, what would you do in a country like Auckland, New Zealand if you were so intelligent and Auckland, New Zealand looked so isolated? And then my response to that would be, COVID-19 has proven itself. We live in a world that are very fair. And when the world, I hope all of you are going to love our nail polish color. And when the world is such a fair world, everything that happens in the world are sometimes on the fairness of the international world that we live in. Every process that people sometimes find themselves manipulating have got a way that results into the fairness that is sometimes having to be acknowledged in everything that we do. Why sometimes? Because the world of fairness are very lenient world. And when you learn that you have gotten so familiar, yes, family, right? That's nice, yes, Auckland. So when you learn that you have gotten so into the familyness of the fairness of the world, and other people decide to live life that sometimes looks a little bit unfair to be Elise's acknowledgement of fairness, right? And I sit with my AWOKH business, and everyone in the world are educated, and every process in the world are so right, and every office in the world are built according to the educational process. And when I sit and I have to wait for my AWOKH business finances, and the process had to be fairly implemented in my day, in my house, in my business, in everything in accordance to my Mama Anna Pilar and Mama Universe Virtum, that I always mention. When every process had to be implemented right, then you actually learn that your familiarity, right, your familyness with the fairness of the world are sometimes keeping you isolated, and the world sometimes want to desert a person. That reason, sometimes like a Rabia Elise, that pretends that everything should now be there. And when the world are not so familiar with the fairness of the womb of Mama Anna Philander, with the fairness of Mama Universe womb, And I sit on my AWOKH business. In the world affair, in the world had COVID-19. And COVID-19 was actually exactly that echoes about the fairness of the earth itself for humanity. And then I was in South Africa with COVID-19. When I came back to New Zealand, I was still in New Zealand and there was parts of the COVID-19 season and then I was now in Auckland. And when you feel isolated and you have not made decisions that were wrong and that were aggressive to the womb of the earth itself, and you find yourself in Auckland, New Zealand in a COVID-19 season because you live in a fair world, then if every process according to every part of humanity being on earth, television that has got access to a RBI list, universal communications, then the RBI list was now never meant to have COVID-19, and the RBI list was now never meant to be hospitalized under the COVID-19 pandemic that a generation of people have had. And I've monitored my sister Antoinette that had COVID-19, right? And I had to question who is then manipulating our household because according to our Mama Anna Philander room, we are Mama Universe room, and such a household never can be acknowledged as a household that are oppressive to humanity itself. We are birthed in the womb of fairness. We are Mama Universe womb itself. The womb has birthed in its seasons in accordance to every country's introduction to a Mama Anna. And by the time that baby Anna Philander is birthed, then by no means can there be in such a house unfairness that is now related to disruptions amongst humanity. And that's where I got a little bit attentive to then how am I in Auckland, New Zealand. And according to how I was in Auckland, New Zealand, everything about me that I've been in Auckland, New Zealand had to be a fine journey. We call it a safe landing. We call it a safe landing journey when you travel and go on a good vacation. And if you have landed safely in Auckland, New Zealand, then by no means you can say all this nitty-gritty, forgive me for the word, but the word is shit. You can say the most shit in the whole wide world on your social media page. And by no means would your life be endangered by that. Under the womb of Mama Anna, Mama Universe. Not that you are now disregarding any and everything that happens in the world. According to the birth womb of humanity itself. And only on that you find your way through your day. And you don't be now creating environments that are oppressive to others, but other people have to learn your pace in life. They have to learn what as a Mama Anna Philander, Mama Universe womb means to the international world. International world has been introduced to King Charles' womb. They have been introduced to American celebrities, African American education of the womb of the universe. And by the time that they get to the South African education of Mama Anna Philander womb, then they need to be on the pace of that, right? And it's not that the house should have been oppressed. The way that our house look, when you Google into a house today, you would say, wow, what happened in such a process? And you would have to learn that when such a house are disruptive, then it causes COVID-19. It causes a generation to be punished. Because if the womb is a Mama Universe womb, and the womb has been educated to humanity, then no one educates themselves to disrupt the womb so that the international world can be disrupted. And that's where I'm so direct in my house with television teams. Because it's not that everyone doesn't have the information. It's not that all the columns were not written about all the honors and all the processes in the international world. And every process explains itself. And thank you for the Europeans, yes, that have really managed the process well there by my sister Antoinette's house in England. Because according to such processes, the womb should be available for people that walk the journey on earth and that learns about every part of what you might be having to find the days and few years on this earth. And for such a reason, the household should be fine, so that when international people learn from the household, and then the households are not, oppressed, and no one else that learns from the house are then oppressed. And that's why I'm very direct with my educations on social media. No one should educate themselves to to manipulate such a house. When humanity learns about the Mama Universe house, then humanity shouldn't educate themselves to manipulate the house. Once you manipulate the house, you can cause wars and aggressions and a whole lot of stuff. And that a lot of people have learned over the years. We gotta check out broccoli and cauliflower just now. Now lamb chop is switched off already. Any other comments? Anyone wants to say something? I know I rush sometimes over the words. And then it's like, can everyone even hear? Oh, Ariana. You love Oriana. Who's Oriana? I know nothing in this international world of what everyone loves and what everyone do not love. Isolation is okay as long as it is comfortable. Being isolated. Feeling isolated, yeah. That's right, I can agree with that. As long as it's comfortable, and as long as isolation feels nice. If you have everything that you need and you are feeling isolated and you feel like, alone, but you are enjoying where you are at in your own space, then by all means. Not isolation to be endangered. You get different types of isolations. When people isolate one another, when the world, not the world itself, that doesn't know the people itself, but when the people of the world learn to isolate one another, isolation can sometimes be harmful. If you don't realize that people are isolating themselves away from you, and you don't realize that normally those people, and I'm not talking about family members in your house, because in our house, our family members wouldn't isolate themselves away from one another. When you live in a community, and I have had that experience before in South Africa, where everyone that knew you were once there with you. And the moment that I got to South Africa in 2019, 2020, and everyone that used to be there wanted to isolate themselves away from you, then it makes you think. Because we live in a world, and South Africa knows a lot of things in the book. Our community where I grew up is one community of people that knows a lot of the international womb of humanity. And when I saw in 2020 that people were isolating themselves away from me, and then it makes you think, sometimes you wonder what are people busy with. Other times it makes you think that they might not realize what they are doing, but in the womb of humanity in this universe, isolation still means isolation. It means imprisonment, it means endangerment. When people are isolated, it can be harmful. And when you are a person that isolates yourself because you were birthed in such a womb, then by all means, such a lifestyle choice is fine. If you love a world where you live in your own space the whole time, if you're growing up in a world where everyone was always there, and they were always echoing when they noticed you, and they were always echoing with excitement, and in an instant of time, everyone around you changes. It can endanger you because it means that they are against you, and they don't sometimes say it with a word. And when they do it in public, and the world has got Google Map videos, and the world sits day by day Googling into one another's countries. And the world will be minutes by how human beings react to one another. And then such an isolation in the world means a lot. We are born in a Mama Universe womb, My brothers are the four spaces that represents the four men amongst humanity in the birth womb of humanity. Our sisters represents the same. Our Mama Anna Pilan's complete birth womb echoes about Mama Universe itself. And when South Africa learned about our womb, and they treated me in 2020 different than they used to, and then it had me think. And then I had to go on Instagram to learn what they were busy with. And my life was almost in danger because the whole world were Googling into South Africa for different reasons. And once you're not people's favorite anymore, then it means people are endangering you in so many ways in the other. And that's why isolation is sometimes good and sometimes you have to be attentive to who's isolating themselves away from you. Are they doing it in public? Because in public you have Googling cameras, you have a lot happening in public. When people disappoint you in public, you have to be attentive and cautious to why the people react in an odd way. And that's the world that we're living in a nutshell. Lovely on carrots, some lovely butter. Carrots almost ready. Now we're gonna focus on our lamb. Let's put this better. Lovely. Now our potatoes are gonna need some lovely spice. We're gonna do our potatoes like last Sunday. I don't know if you're like a good baked potato. But I love a good one. I love a good baked potato. When COVID started, I was in Europe and the Netherlands quarantine was crazy. It was really crazy. And the recent trip was very difficult in 2020 because of the draft and then yeah. So everything about COVID-19 was odd and crazy. It was so odd. And then if COVID-19 got to you, then you probably will, I don't know, it was very odd. And to be isolated in South Africa, and to be, not able to go anywhere. And sometimes being able to go anywhere, it would have depressed you. Sometimes such things get a hold of you. But that is why everyone has to always educate themselves in every process that we are managing on this earth. That such things like COVID-19 doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Scientifically, we live in a very scientific world and on a very scientific earth. Mathematically, every process are in accordance to the calculation of the womb of humanity on earth, then in the calculation of the womb processes in the universe, right? Of how humanity reacts and where we react from. And under such circumstances, every office were built in accordance to the birth womb of humanity. And when every office are built, technology requires information, statistics of every count of every people on this earth. And when technology requires information of every count, thank you, then technology makes calculation for every household on earth. And when technology calculates accurately, and the technology doesn't get it wrong, then somewhere between us, the people, we have responsibilities in all of those processes. And once we do not acknowledge our responsibilities, and once we tend to sift around a process because we think it's fine for us to sift around the process, and then it causes questioning in the womb of humanity itself, and it causes questioning in the universe. Not even limited to all the poverty, all the crime, all the aggressions, all the uglinesses and rudenesses and wars that are happening. Because every war calculated for. Every process on earth, they always say, are calculated for. And therefore, it is our responsibility when we work in certain processes on this earth to make sure that we do not manipulate a process. And if we are not really not manipulative people, then we should exactly be the people that manage certain processes. And that's what a Mama Anapulanda, Mama Universe womb means. It means that if you are not the manipulative house and you don't like to manipulate, then by all means you need to manage certain processes on the earth so that unfairness and oppression does not disrupt the earth itself. And that's where everyone needs to be at in our generation. Because we can by all means explain everything away. We can by all means explain crime away and say that crime happens in the middle of nowhere from nowhere. We can by all means explain a war away and say that wars happen because someone was now in a mafia. But everything on this earth happens for a reason. Every gunshot are calculated. In accordance to a process and waiting for another process, humanity has had the advantage of having every process structured on earth. Of having every process implemented on earth. Humanity needs to get it right, and I always say we need to get it right the whole time. We have a responsibility on the earth to get it right the whole time. My husband said to me once that I cannot fix the whole world. I cannot make the whole world right. And he has a good laugh. And he has good reason to tell me that. And I tell him it's not about fixing the whole world. And I tell him the whole world are not unmanageable. It's not science to make sure that every process in the world are fair and fine. Every process in the world has been implemented already. And for every process in the world that has been implemented, scientifically, humanity needs to get it right with every part of the education, ground level 1, primary school education, every other educational level, and how every household are then structured and every office are built from every educational department itself. And once every process are managed thoroughly and accurately, then the world won't have COVID-19s. The world won't increase with wars. The world would learn how to be prevented of the wars. So Mama Anna and Mama Universe womb was birthed to be prevented of the wars. The womb was birthed after wars, after war generations, to educate humanity how to prevent wars. And in such a birth womb, in such a legislative world, my husband gets angry when I get so harsh about all of these educations. In such a or my ex-husband or whatever the process are nowadays. In such a legislative world, the world needs to get it right the whole time. In such an educated world, the world has got all of the processes, and they need to get all those processes right the whole time. And that's only the beginning of leading this generation education. And we're still going a long route with our education. everyone. Oh, sugar, I just wanted to say because it looks so bright. Oh, you have not added sugar. I'm like, wow. Sugar over carrot. Not really, now the carrot is like caramel. Lovely. Let me get a tissue paper quickly. Lovely sizzling food. Lovely. Now food is sizzling. Oh, what are we gonna do now? Everyone, we all need something to get some education about my lovely eyelashes. A lovely eyebrows. I need to actually buy a mascara sometime. But for now, let's read all of these lovely messages by the king. Discouraged by this ugly eyebrows. Hi, Samina. Hi, Lux. Something, something. You're doing good. Thank you. What I want to. Oh, nice. You want to visit the northern Cape. That's right. So I'm cooking sweet carrots for those people that are still listening. Sweet carrots with a lovely lamb chop, with a lovely rice, with a lovely broccoli and cauliflower. Lovely, thank you. Yeah, just have so everyone that still in the room, you can still say hi if you are still in the room. Thank you. We advise that everyone says hi when they're still in the room and when they're still listening to everything that we are saying. Because by the time that we conclude the video, we are going to do probably our photos once we done with our lovely warm cooking and soft potatoes, lovely baked potatoes. We are doing this with a lovely baked potato. Thank you. With a lovely baked potato. Lovely oil baked potato. Lovely. For my videography team, let's just page to quickly look at this lovely pot of food. Thank you. Oh, lovely. It's carrots are lovely and steamy, right? Thank you for joining. That's a lovely sweet carrot, but we're gonna put everything on the website. It's quite steamy here by the spot. Let me quickly. No, you're not by the camera. Yeah. Come into the kitchen if you want. I know. Close to it now. Yeah. Carrot. Our carrots are lovely, everyone. Let's quickly check out. Look at how it's sizzling. It looks lovely. It's very nice. I can't wait to do that website photo with the lovely sizzling carrots. Let's quickly close this lovely pot. Our broccoli is lovely and oh, then we're gonna do a potato after that. That's lovely. Thank you, everyone. We're also now really gonna conclude this video with a lovely baked potato with a lovely lamb chop with a good fashion photo today. And while we're gonna do fashion, go to our Instagram page tomorrow. This week is Relationship Talk. For those people that are used to following us, not for people that are now for the very first time in the room, and then are now only coming to check up on what we're doing and what we're talking about. We have got a good lot of loads of educational information. To those people that have listened to everything that I've now said in the video, and to everything that I talk about, go and press play on the videos because you would appreciate to give your opinion on everything that I mentioned, right? You would appreciate to give your opinion on everything that we give our opinion and that we advocate for in our season. I always say thank you for joining the room. I'm really now concluding with this cooking video. I'm going to make the photos available at the website, AWOKH.wordpress.com. And other than that, please play on our discussions because our Sunday room is now really not only about the cooking. It is about every other discussion and that we sometimes want to be lenient on ourselves and on what we say. Because we educate a lot, we give our opinion about a lot, but this world is a lot disruptive. When the world is so much disruptive and disrupts and affects anyone's day, we have an obligation in this world. And however you decide to adhere to your obligation in this world, that makes you building your room of this world. For every room in this world there's an office. And if my AWOKH business are not acknowledged in according to my room, then where do I find myself at in a disruptive world? Where is the world headed? With me having given birth to 2 daughters, yes, and in the season where my youngest daughter finds herself in the education room on this earth, the world have responsibility. And that's where I'm at with my opinion and with my educations. For the world to divert away from what they are doing and from the womb itself, it is their responsibility. But for me, owning my house, my office, everything that echoes about how my house are provided for, I have responsibility not only to myself, but to my daughter that walks the journey on this earth, right? And only therefore, not only for my one daughter, because we are ever part of this universe as well. And we do not only disregard people that are not there anymore. When we look upon this world, we look upon a womb that births and that wombs on a daily basis and that wombs every second of every day. And while we are walking such a journey, let us learn to acknowledge ourselves in the amazing birthroom of this earth itself. Have an amazing fashion season with me, Rabia Elise, an amazing cooking Sunday also. Have a great Sunday.